Welcome back. We're looking at the different ways e-learning is finding its feet in schools across India. Joining me now, Mr. Sameer Bhuti, co-founder, Class Teacher Learning Systems. So thank you so much for talking to us. I'll begin by asking you that how would you say that technology has changed the way we learn in India today? How is it taking over the traditional modes of learning?
Technology itself is changing fundamentally, and as technology changes, what you can do with it changes. The concept of social media, the concept of people staying connected with each other also came up very recently in the last few years. I think one of the things that has, apart from the generational shift and the way the attitude and behaviors of people change, the other aspect also has been that given that education is a sector which takes time to change, it takes time to accept things, given that a lot of time has passed now that technology has been around in education, the acceptance has been gradually growing and it will continue to grow.
So as you said earlier, the way people consume education has changed over a period of time. How has e-learning taken over the education space?
The way people receive education has changed over the years, and that's the reason for that is because the way we consume anything, any content, any media has also changed. So we belong to a generation where we got exposed to the cable TV for the first time. Today the kids are born with smartphones and in their hands, and they want to learn through apps from day one. They want to learn through devices. So that is what has changed, and then that creates a demand for a new medium of teaching and learning, and not necessarily it creates a demand in terms of the education per se. It's still the same education, it's still the same things that you were supposed to learn, that you were supposed to master, the same skill sets that you were expected to acquire at each stage of your life, at each stage of your education. But yes, what technology has done is, given that technology has changed very fast, the way people consume content and media, that changes, and that creates a need for different kind of formats and different technology to come into education.
What are some of the concerns that you might have seen about parents using technology, using e-learning the way they do today? And as a provider of such systems, what are the precautions that you take at your end?
So yeah, we've heard all sorts of concerns coming in from the parents. So there are parents who've expressed the concern of child spending too much time on the screen as one of the concerns. But then most parents realize that irrespective, the child is going to spend that time on the screen in any case. So whether he uses it for education or entertainment, he would do that. So if he could do that for education and it helps the child, it's all the more better. And you have better technologies available today. You have the kind of screens and the kind of anti-glare screens that you get. The impact has been reduced.
What are the different products that you have that sort of make the curriculum available to students everywhere and anywhere?
See, you could use technology in two ways. You could use it for independent learning and you could use it for guided learning. So if you look at it, if there is a student in a very small town where he does not have access to quality teachers, I don't say that the technology can replace a teacher. That's not what it is expected to do. But it can fill in the gap of not having a quality teacher. For students who don't have access to quality teachers, it fills in the gap a little. For students who have access to quality teachers, they would do well in any case. So it is more about the students who don't have access to quality education or good schools or good teachers. For them, this is of tremendous benefit, because when they learn independently through a medium like this, which is adaptive, which guides them, which gives them the necessary tools and resources which they would take maybe ages to find elsewhere, it becomes a very well-defined structured learning path for those students.
There exists a big myth out there that the use of e-learning will sort of replace teachers, the traditional ways of learning will take a step back. What would you say about that?
A quality teacher can never be replaced. So it's only a teacher which is worth replacing can be replaced by technology, but otherwise I don't think it can do that. And like I said, you can always bridge the gap. For a student who does not have access to a quality teacher, the technology can bridge the gap with that. A student who already has access to quality teacher has best of both the worlds. So he can use the power of a teacher, but e-learning is not just one mind behind that particular product. E-learning, or any e-learning product, is a combination of a number of minds that have gone behind it.
And do you see the future of e-learning in India set to grow?
I think for many reasons it is the only way to go ahead, because you don't have those number of quality teachers being produced today, you can't reach out to such a diverse country otherwise. There is no other way that you can achieve that. You have the demand for education anywhere and everywhere. The single biggest investment that any parent makes today in our country is in education. Parents are willing to spend any amount, but what do they spend on? They don't know where should they spend that money on. So eventually, beyond sending the child to a private school, which is the first choice for most students, whether or not for most parents, whether or not they can afford it, they prefer sending the child to a private school because of the perception that they would get better quality of education. So if they have tools like this which can further enhance the kind of education that a child could get, they would certainly want to have something like this.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks for talking to us. That's a wrap on the show. Thanks for watching.
Catch the Heads Up episodes you might have missed during the week at these times only on NDTV Prime.